Look, I get it. The world sucks. There's a global pandemic, we have to stay indoors, but there's only so many times I can rewatch the Lizzie McGuire movie. But as the world goes on a bit of a timeout, I'd like to take advantage of this time to catch up on all the nerdy things I haven't tried, to explore the lesser, more niche aspects of geekdom. I'm but a student, a squire of the weird, so watch me, Michael Nevada, as I learn to geek. I have to come clean about something. When I was a kid in the 90s, I hated three things. That weird paperclip that kept popping up in Microsoft Word, Batman's nipple suit, and reading. I'd see my friends read books like Animorphs or Sweet Valley High, and I just didn't get it. I was far more interested in picture books like The Magic School Bus because, well, it had pictures. And Arthur, because, Arthur's my homeboy. That is until my parents bought me a Goosebumps book called The Deadly Experiments of Dr. Eek. Or is it Eek? Because of the extra E? Anyways. So this wasn't like any other book I had read. They were told in the second person, which meant I was the main character, and more importantly, I was making choices that altered the path of the story. This book claimed to have 20 different endings. My mind was blown away by this. I mean, have you read Of Mice and Men? It's got one super sad ending. That's it. Now you're telling me the book with a monkey on the cover has 19 more endings than Of Mice and Men? I was obsessed with these books. Now Gamebooks are essentially interactive stories. You start them off like any other book, on page 1, until the story gives you a choice of where to go next. Every choice is connected to a reference page, and you simply go to that page to see the consequences of your choice. The most popular of these books is the Choose Your Own Adventure series, originally published by Bantam Books. Their first title was The Cave of Time, released in 1979, but by the end of its initial run in 1998, their library consisted of 184 great titles. 183 great titles, and You Are a Shark. Yeah. Most of them were written by either R.A. Montgomery or Edward Packard. Atlas Obscura states, quote, Journey Under the Sea, Space and Beyond, and By Balloon to the Sahara have 42 endings each, more than any other books in the series, end quote. The Choose Your Own Adventure series is perhaps the most successful of the game books, and synonymous with the genre. But by the 1980s, a more roleplay heavy game book emerged. 1982 saw the release of Fighting Fantasy and its first title, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Like the Choose Your Own Adventure series, the books had a branching storyline, told in the second person. However, the books added an extra layer of complexity to them. Taking inspiration from tabletop RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons, readers had to create stats using a character sheet, and, my absolute favorite thing in the world, roll some dice. So while I was a veteran of the classic Choose Your Own Adventure book, I had never played anything in the Fighting Fantasy series. Till now. What you need apparently is this, a book, a pencil, and some dice. I have a little dice right here. You don't need one for this, but hey, so I'm just gonna go read up on this book and I'll let you guys know how this all goes. And so, like Frodo and Sam leaving the Shire, my journey began. And my first quest was to set up my character sheet. Alright, so I have my sheet over here, and I'm gonna be rolling dice to figure out my skill stamina and luck. So roll one die, add 6 to this number, and enter this in the skill box. So I'm gonna roll one die. Let's make this a good one. Let's do this. Ooh, that's a 1. Damn it.
A few moments later.
So those are my stats right now. I have a skill of 7, a stamina of 20, and a luck of 11. Okay. My story began after a 2-day hike to the entrance of Firetop Mountain. There, across the clearing, was a dark cave that I, of course, entered. So I'm at my first choice, which is actually, one page in. I don't know anyone who reads any of those Choose Your Own Adventure books, but sometimes you don't get a choice until 4, 5, 6 pages in, so I thought that was really cool. It almost feels like a map, like a video game. So I have to either turn west or east. So let's go west. And west I went, and then north and south and then east to parts unknown, heading inside rooms, picking up items, including 2 keys, one numbered 111 and the other 125. I fought such foes as the crazy old man, a minotaur, and a group of undead soldiers. Okay, so I just uncovered this book written by a Federico Di Maggio. And the last page read, "Remember, only when the dragon breathes its fire at you should you raise your arms and say, Ekil Erif, Ekam Erif, Erif Erif, Di Maggio." So honestly, at that point, I was playing for maybe 2-3 hours. I was having a blast doing it. It seems weird playing D&D on your own, basically, but I totally enjoy my time there. And then it got to the end. And like all good fantasy stories, I faced a dragon at the end. I wasn't sure I was ready to face it, but then I remembered that spell I learned in one of the rooms. I said the words, Ekil Erif, Ekam Erif, Erif Erif, Di Maggio. And lo and behold, I slayed the dragon. I imagined all the songs they'd sing about me and my courageous deeds for generations to come. My journey was over. Boy, was I wrong. So, apparently, I reached the end there, but I don't have enough keys, basically. Have to make sure it's the right amount of keys. So yeah, that's it for now. So I had to replay the entire book again to find yet another key to finish the story. And honestly, this part was a grind. I was repeating beats, fighting monsters I had fought before. I guess I could have just skimmed through the book to find the page with the grand ending, but that would be cheating. I refused to skip pages. But if I were to say, look online for helpful hints as to which room to go through, I mean, that's not cheating, right? Right? Finally, with a tiny, minuscule, little help from the internet, but mostly me, I found the last of the 3 keys. I finished the book. One of those things where I have to go back, try to find the keys. I may or may not have looked online just for a little help to see where I might have missed a spot to go to. I counted everything and I won. I gotta say, at the end of the day, I had a great time doing it, and honestly, this was a good way to spend my quarantine. So would I play another fighting fantasy book? Absolutely. It's this strange love child of D&D and Choose Your Own Adventure. And honestly, I think I like it better than vanilla Choose Your Own Adventure. With those books, every choice could be life or death, and it was nerve-wracking. With the fighting fantasy books, your stamina stat is essentially your life bar, which made me more confident to jump into more dangerous situations if my health was high. This encourages exploration, and that's fine by me. I want to explore every facet of the story, kick down every door, and open every treasure chest. In the future, I think I'd like to try something outside of the usual dungeon crawl and try some of their horror titles, like Vault of the Vampire and House of Hell. Now, is this better than playing a video game? Hey, there's nothing wrong with playing Doom Eternal on a 4K TV. I love video games, but it's certainly nice to unplug once in a while and use your imagination for a change. So if you haven't played a game book of any kind, whether it's Choose Your Own Adventure or the more complicated, more complex fighting fantasy style game book, they're all recommends. I mean, there's something empowering about playing a game where you control the destiny of the story. And it's really cool just reading a book too and rolling some dice. So with that being said, I'm Mike Nevada, and thanks for watching me learn to geek. If you enjoyed my video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Stay geeky, friends.